Really not good for him. So the question is, why are we doing 8 days? It should be 7 days. This was already part of the plan. This is what we have. Off your phone.
I'm not
This
doing it.
this is what we had. So why is it that we're celebrating this for 8 days, not 7 days? Because we already had this in our hand. Okay. The second question is the menorah. Everything was done for the menorah, right? Which was in the Beit HaMikdash, which looked like this. Okay.
We had the oil then for the 1 plus the 7 days. You're saying
We had 1 day. The miracle was it was the 1 day plus another 7
days.
Another 7. So the question is, if it's also meant for the menorah, then why are we lighting 7 candles every night? It should be for zecher of the menorah that was lit for 7 days or 8 days even. But why we do one? The mitzvah is 1 candle per night. Why? It should be all of them, because that's the reason why we do it. We're doing it because the entire menorah was lit for 8 days. So why we light 1 candle? We're lighting 7. That's how many were on the menorah itself in the Beit HaMikdash.
You should light 7.
And even more than
You
that,
should light 7 for 1 day only.
we should light 7
For 7 days.
7 days, as many days as you want. As
No,
many,
but the
as many days as you want.
I have an answer.
What do you mean? It's as many. It's as many. What's it called? As the menorah itself was lit for 8 days, right? But there's 7 kanim on the menorah. So you should be lighting, if it's in zecher of the oil, that it's the menorah is the purpose. So light all 7. Why is it 1 candle per night? Your mitzvah, by the way, is just to do this candle every night for 8 days. Boop, boop, boop. 1, 1, 1. That's it. So why can't it should be all 7? That's the same. It makes sense, because that's what it is. The other question, by the way, is why do we light it? The menorah that was lit in the Beit HaMikdash was lit in the afternoon. So why don't we light it in the afternoon? Why do we light it at night? Okay, and more than that, it also says that with the original mitzvah is you have to light it outside by the mezuzah. You're supposed to have the mezuzah on the right side and the menorah on the left side. But the question is, the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash was on the south side. So why are you telling me the reason that we put it is to be no problem. You want to put it on the outside mezuzah, very nice. But you're saying the reason why we put it is because the right side should be the mezuzah and the left side should be the menorah. But that's not why the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash was on the south side. It doesn't make sense. You understand the question? And also, more than that, is why is it that you're allowed to extinguish if it gets extinguished, do you have to relight? If you blow it out, if you blow it out, if it gets blown out, do you have to relight? You don't have to relight. Why not? Why not? Why is that enough? And by the way, not even that, you're allowed to use anything you want. You could use machta that could light. It doesn't have to be olive oil.
You have to burn for a certain amount of time, no?
No, just like that. If you light, you fulfill the mitzvah by lighting.
You fulfill the mitzvah, but you're supposed to use the choicest oil, which you'll probably get into.
Agree.
Supposed to agree. Yeah, you don't have to. Exactly.
Why? It's not a joke. Zera Shimshon say it's like a joke.
It doesn't. You don't need a minimum time for it to.
No, you need if you're going to extinguish it, you have to allow it to last for 30 minutes at least. But if it extinguishes by itself, you're not required. Okay,
but that's not the same as blowing it out.
It's not the same.
If the wind comes and blows it out, that's not you blowing it out.
Okay, so if the wind blows it out, I'm good. But if I intentionally blow it out, I need 30 minutes. Yes, because that's the shiur of a thing. But either way, why is the Torah so light about it? They're so light about it. It's like not a bit like, all right, if it blows out, you're fine. But like, you don't have to relight it. Something. And also, this is the final question: is why do you have to do it? Why do you have to do it? B'rshut harabim. It says to do it outside, right? By the petach, by the doorway. Why by the doorway?
They said you have to bring it back in.
No.
And it would change that you should bring it back in.
We're talking, the original mitzvah was that it be done outside. The original mitzvah was that it is done outside. If the menorah was inside, we should be doing it inside. The menorah, everything is about the menorah and the Beit HaMikdash. The menorah and the Beit HaMikdash was, find me a picture of the menorah. There's plenty inside. Fine. Keep going. And the whole purpose of it was specifically for the menorah and the Beit HaMikdash that was able to be it was able to be lit. So, but if we're doing everything in memory or in commemoration of the candles of the menorah that was lit, then why are we doing it on the inside where it belongs? So he starts by answering. Maybe you can answer Pirsumei Nisa for to publicize the miracle. That you could do for why we do it in the house by the
Here.
Petah, because that's where they are.
That's not a menorah.
Well, it's got to be there. Any picture with gold is going to be a picture of the inside of the hechal.
But not with the
Keep going.
menorah next to you.
Yes, you'll see it.
1 second,
So-
we're getting pictures. Wait 1 second. Are you
I'm
showing
gonna get you a
pictures
pic-
now?
I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture. I came with props. I said
Well,
it's very important to understand.
To be honest, the people on Zoom should see the props first.
I'm
Yeah.
preparing it for you. I'm getting it for you.
How do you know it's outside and
Let me
not
see.
inside? How do you know?
Because I know that is on the
Were you
inside.
there? How do you know? You weren't there.
This is inside. Look, noten mihadam al kerem mizrahit sefonit. This is inside the hechal. Look, this is where. Can you see it?
Well, back.
Yeah.
No close.
This is the menorah.
Yeah.
This is inside the Beit HaMikdash, not the outside. There was an inside and an outside. If
Mhm.
this is the reason why it was lit, with only this much oil, and it lasted for 8 days, everything is about this right here. Right here. This is what it was about. The menorah. If this was about the menorah, then we should be lighting where the menorah was. And we should be lighting it in the direction where the menorah was, which is inside, which is on the south side. But we don't do it. Why don't we do it? Because we want to say Pirsumei Nisa. We want to say it because we want more people to know. The main thing is we're doing is to publicize the miracle. But you have to ask, what is the miracle that we're publicizing? You have to ask, what is the miracle that we're publicizing?
Either the lighting or the war, depending on how you want to, that's
The
Spiritual, the
Taz-
spiritual life.
The Taz gives a reason why we have it. The Taz says that the first day that we have the menorah is that we have Chanukah is for the war, and the 7 days is for the is for the oil lasting. But there's a problem with that. And by the way, he says, and that's why we don't have we don't have a mitzvah to eat on Chanukah. Stuff our faces with jelly donuts from Long Island. Thank you, by the way, which was very good. But it's the miracle. The miracle. So he's saying that it doesn't work. He's saying the first day is for the war and the 7 days are for the light, right? For the oil. But that doesn't work because at the end of the day, you have change.
No, I don't.
At shovel upstairs.
You
At
don't
the
have
end of the
that
day,
one?
no. At the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, if it was meant for the war, then oil has nothing to do with the war. If you want to say the reason why the first day we commemorate is for the war and the other 7 days is for the candle lighting, then you should be walking around with swords and shields. There's nothing to do. Oil lighting means nothing. So what does that mean to do? Thank you very much.
You
Thank
asked
you.
also, how come we don't mind in the daytime, right? We don't start from the day.
Hold on.
We don't start any holiday from the day. We always start at night. What holiday
But
start
it's
at-
commemorating the fact that the menorah was lit. The
Okay, but
menorah
what
was
time- what
lit
time?
in the afternoon. It was lit, and the Rambam says it was lit in the morning and the afternoon,
Okay,
twice
well,
a day.
so you can
None
say-
of them say at
You
night.
can say the same for Pesach. When did we leave? In the morning? Or did we leave at night?
We left.
Or midday? When did we leave?
But started.
the holidays that we
Makah Bechorot started at midnight. Makah Bechorot started at midnight, and that was the beginning.
So, right. So why don't we just start that the day of, the morning of? If it's midnight, it's already the next
No,
day.
so we do, but we don't. No, the difference is that all holidays start at night.
And
but-
what's Hanukkah's not considered a holiday, then you're saying.
It's but the time to light the menorah, lulav and etrog. When's the time in the morning? But what do you mean the holiday starts at night? Yeah, but that mitzvah starts in the morning. The mitzvah of the nerot should be in the afternoon
No, then
when
you
they
can't see
light
it. You
lit.
can't see the lights.
So we're gonna get there.
That's I
We're
know.
gonna
I
get
learned
there.
it on Monday.
We're gonna get there.
You light at night to see the
But-
mitzvah to see
But
the
the
light.
first
You can't
question
see
is
in
we
the
have to
daytime.
know what are we publicizing? What is the miracle? There's a mahloket. The Taz says one opinion says that it was 1 day for the war and the other 7 days are for the oil. Okay, but that doesn't work because even if you look at Al Hanisim that we read, right? You have your Siddur, which says Al Hanisim Al Burkan. Everything is about the war. The entire paragraph is all about the war, nothing to do with the oil. And by the way, my friend Joe even pointed out, it doesn't even say that we lit the oil. It doesn't say that we found the oil. It just says that we tiharu et mikdashecha, that we purified the Beit HaMikdash. But it doesn't say that we actually, what's it called? It doesn't say that we actually, hey, look, So during the time Yohanan Kohen Gadol Hashmonai and his children, 4 children, it was 5 people total. Him and his 4 brothers, the sons. Okay, they got up and they fought against Yavan. The small guys into the big guys. They fought the thing. All that situation, the whole thing, right? The Tamid versus the Tahod, the Zedi, all the okay, and then it says after we came to David Kubetecha, which is the Beit HaMikdash, ufinu et hechalecha v'tiharu et mikdashecha v'hiliku nerot b'chatzrot kodshecha, and we lit the candles in your Beit HaMikdash. It doesn't say anything about we finding this guy and it was pure. We didn't mention anything. It just says we lit the candles. It's amazing.
Right, but people could say that the miracle is also that the candle stayed lit.
So then why did it say
Not
it?
that
It don't
okay,
say
the
it.
oil with-
It
the
doesn't
oil-
say it. I know, but that's weird. It doesn't say it. I agree with you. But why doesn't it say it in the
It's
Alani
talking about the light, the oil. Okay, I get the oil part. The oil lesson.
You boys, you
But
understand the
it's not- it's
question?
not saying
Dan, you
that
get the
it's not
question?
saying that the
This
light-
that says the whole thing that we
Or-
read doesn't mention the fact that we found 1 pach shemen, zach, tahor, and we lit and it lasted for 8 days. That's messed up.
without getting blown out.
Doesn't
Maybe it's
mention
just not
that we
relevant.
lit- What? What do you mean not relevant? If I asked
Saying
you,
maybe-
it's like it's 7 days.
But I'm saying the biggerness is not that the oil lasted for 7-8 days. I think what you're trying to stress is the biggerness is that we won the war and got everything back. The oil just happened to be
According to this, it's that we won the war.
right. So I'm saying maybe the oil is just not something that we need to celebrate separately. We don't
But
celebrate.
if there's anybody, everyone's celebrating the Nerot. Yes,
Thanks, and
anybody
maybe that's
celebrating
a wrong way to think about Hanukkah.
Okay, so we're
If
talking
we
about
have to do
it.
it, then how come we're not doing, if it lasted for 24 hours a day or whatever hours it was, I'm not saying it's working that time, 24 hours a day, how come we don't use 24-hour candles throughout the whole day? Let it light the whole day and stay lit.
You could if you wanted. And that answers the question of why is it that if I light it, I'm going to say, why is that enough?
Yeah.
Why, you understand? Why is that enough? It should be where there is a shiur of time that you light. But okay, so now the Taz says what? So we have a problem with the Taz. And we have another opinion that says that the Piri Hadash says that the first day of the war, first day of the miracle is for the war, right? And also it's hard to say Lo haya lan la'alik ela lasot zecher lenes binyan ahed. All right, we'll skip that. It's not important. This is the big thing. The way we explained it, the way you explained Parashat Vayeshev, in last week's Parashat he explains it. The purpose of the miracle of the war was not that we beat them physically, it's that it enabled us to be free spiritually. It enabled us to be free spiritually. Huh?
I said that before.
All right, you can give it, you can talk.
No, you asked what the specialty was. You asked about what are we celebrating, and I said spiritual.
Spiritual, but
That was the main
but
thing.
the oil, we explained the oil represents freedom to do mitzvot. That's what we say. The oil that you're lighting, the ner, the or, the light that you're seeing represents the freedom to do mitzvot. Because they did not want to kill us. It's very important to know that. Purim wanted to kill us. And that's why we have a celebration of eating and drinking, because it was saving Aguf. Chanukah, completely different. We don't have anything to do with food. Why not? Because our salvation was nothing to do with physical, all spiritual. The fact that we get to put tefillin on, to keep Shabbat, Brit Milah to our children, that is what we're celebrating.
Yeah. Well, we
So
do have the
this-
food aspect. Yeah, we do have the food aspect when it comes to the oily foods as well as
That's
the
it. Just to
dairy.
remind you
Yeah.
the oil.
And the
Just to remind you
dairy.
the oil.
No, the dairy also.
There is the mind of Yehudi.
Yes,
So
that's my
the-
point. Yeah.
But not a
But
seudah.
it's not a chayav
No,
item. It's not a.
It's not
No,
chayav
but it's a
either,
nice
that's
thing to
right.
do.
Not
It's a
chayav.
nice thing to do.
Nice, but not a hayuv. Purim, you have a mitzvah to eat. You have a mitzvah to eat, to make a seudah, to make hamotzi, and to say berakat mazon, and that's a mitzvah. Why? So why Purim is different? Because Purim was physical. So Haman wanted to kill us physically. We got saved physically. So we eat and drink and we're merry. Hanukkah has nothing to do. They wanted to make us into goyim. God forbid. That's a crazy thought. That's a crazy, crazy thought. If somebody wants to kill you, is one thing. Somebody wants to take away your identity, your religion, the purpose of your existence, that's a whole nother ballgame. And the fact that we won, is represented by the light. That we were able to what's it called we were able to do the mitzvot. And we're going to go down to answer all these questions, how it fits with the concept that this represents our freedom to do mitzvot. The first one, and by the way, that's why we say Hallel and Hoda'ah. Tomorrow morning, God willing, we're all going to say Hallel in Shul. Come tomorrow morning at 6.
And Flatbush.
And Flatbush. So we're all going to say Hallel. Danny, I'm pushing it.
He's trying.
Winners wake up early. Don't forget it. The leaders of the world wake up early. No one sleeps late.
I teach kids.
No, good. So, okay, good. So now let's say the first thing we said was what? The first thing we said was that it's the mitzvah of Chanukah is one light per family. Right? One light every day, just one item. That is the mitzvah. Why? Because the ikar of the miracle is to show you that we were able to be, that the light was removed from within the darkness. Right? And and we were able to do the mitzvot. What the Pasuk in Mishleh says, Ki ner mitzvah, the Torah od. Ki ner mitzvah means that a mitzvah is a candle. Ki ner mitzvah. Because a mitzvah is a candle. A mitzvah is a candle. That's the definition of the Pasuk in Mishleh. Why? The majority of the mitzvot we do where? In the house. Everything you do, the majority of the mitzvot you do in the house. You berachot in the house, taharat mishpacha in the house, nidah in the house, mezuzah in the house, chinuch yeladim in the house, kashrut in the house, Shabbat in the house. Majority of the mitzvot you do, right, is in the house. So the reason why we do it in the house is to show you that we are now free to do the mitzvot in the house that we were not allowed to do before. The question, why are we lighting this in the house? First of all, this answers a bunch of questions. Why are we lighting it in the house? Number one. No, why? I'm sorry. Why is this one per household? To show you that this represents the majority of the mitzvot that are done in the house that are now able to be done freely. We're saying just bare minimum. We're talking bones. Bare minimum. What's your hayu? Your hayu bare minimum is to light one per house. That's your hayu. Okay. Why one per house? To show you that it represents the mitzvot. Ki ner mitzvah. Ki ner mitzvah. That the mitzvah is a candle. That you are able to now perform the mitzvot that you were not allowed to do. And it also answers the question. I'm going to jump just because it really fits perfectly. Is why do we do it on the outside? Why do we do it by the doorway? We're supposed to do it in the house by the door. But not only that, how did the Greeks check if we were doing the mitzvot or not? They come into the house. They came right into the house. They would come in and see you meat and milk. What do you? They want to see. So now we're putting it right in their face on the doorstep to show I get to do the mitzvot with freedom, and through the same doorway that the Yevanim would try. That's why he tell me, I don't care. I don't care, because I know this is when you know the sword, the kavanah behind it, then it's okay. Because I lit my minute, I have 2 minutes. I lit two. No, one I did inside the house. That's what I did the thing, and I lit one in front of my house also. I lit one in front of my house. Why? Because I've been doing it before Israel. But to show you that we are free to do the mitzvot, and why are we free? Because Hashem saved us. And that's what the menorah represents. The menorah represents, Chanukah represents the fact that we get to do the mitzvot freely. And everything we do with the candle is represented with the fact that I get to do the mitzvot freely. Why one mitzvah per house? To show you that the majority of the mitzvot that are done in the house are able to be done. Because before with the Yevanim was not. And why do we do it in the Beit Knesset? Why are we doing the Beit Knesset? Because also to show you that there's mitzvot that we do in Shul. The other half of mitzvot that we do are in Shul. So we light them. We light it over there also. Okay, to show you that berov am hadrat melech, that we're able to do the mitzvot in public, right, with many people, and we also able to do the mitzvot in the house. To show you that we're able to do them because before we weren't. Okay. Okay. What about the fact that if it extinguishes, you don't have to relight? How does that fit? How does that fit with what we're saying? So we know that there's mitzvot that you're able to do with just one word. You say amen, for instance, you fulfill the mitzvah. You do milah, for instance, brit milah. It's one cut, one action. Once you do the one action, you're able to do, you fulfill the mitzvah. Now, what happens if the brit milah wasn't good? If the brit milah wasn't,
Feel bad for the kids.
no, you don't have to because he doesn't have to get it redone. If it was a bad mohel,
He has to get it fixed.
he doesn't have to get it fixed. The only reason we do get it fixed, but only because marit ayin. Because when the kid grows
Yeah,
up,
the
if people
parents.
see, no, they're like, oh, maybe this guy didn't get a brit milah, and it's weird. So that's not. But according to halakha, he does not have to do it again. To show you what that any mitzvah that you do, right? There are mitzvot that you're able to do once, one and done. So the ned, if it extinguishes the second after you light it, it's okay, because that is representing the mitzvot that are able, that even if you did that bebata in 1 second, you're able to be yotzeh, like a brit milah, which they took away from us. They took away us doing brit milah. So now this is showing that even if we do brit milah and the guy was a little messy, we don't have to redo it again, and he's yotzeh. He has the brit she'atamta b'bsarenu. He has the brit on him like everybody else. Okay, okay, but why? But why do we actually? So right? Because that's what we said. Because that's where they went in. Okay, what about mezuzah? Mezuzah is a good one. Mezuzah says. So you understand? So far we answered why inside the house to show you, because the whole concept of the menorah is to tell you the spiritual redemption we received. Not physical. The fact that we're able to light, what we're lighting to represent that we're able to do the mitzvot again. That's the key. That's the key. And why ish beto? Why perhaps because the majority of the mitzvot are done in the house. Why in the Beit Knesset? Because the other mitzvot you do berov am hadrat melech, you do it in the shul. You pray with a minyan. You go do hatara. You do prayers. Everything you do, either do it in the house or you do it in the shul. That's the majority. Okay. The second. So why is it if it gets extinguished right away, it's okay? Because to show you that's representing the mitzvot that you fulfill them by doing with one shot, right? Like milah. If you do it wrong, you don't have to redo it again. There's other mitzvot. Guys, give me examples of mitzvot that you do in one shot.
You eat something, no? Quick.
Okay.
Lulav, no.
No, but I mean, Amen is the one that I can really think of. But there's others. Oh, I'll give you one. Tefillin. What's the main mitzvah of tefillin? When you yeah. When you tighten it. When you tighten it, you don't have to do the whole 8. I mean, you do.
Yeah, but people adjust it and everything. You're not doing it in one shot and then wrapping it.
No, when you do it, generally you do when you have to say the beracha before you tighten it. Once you tighten it, the mitzvah was already done.
Right.
So same thing. If it extinguishes, you're fulfilled. If I tightened it, I'm fulfilled. If I say amen, I'm fulfilled. You understand? To show you that there's mitzvot that don't have to be a whole hoopla, a whole whatever, just one shot, I'm done and I'm good. And I did it properly. Now, what about the mezuzah? The mezuzah is a great one. It's a good question. The mezuzah, you're telling me, because what's the reason that Shulchan Aruch gives? Why do we put it across the mezuzah? Is so that you have the reason is kedesh teh mezuzah miyamin v'aned Chanukah misemol.
Surrounded by mitzvot.
What does that mean?
Everywhere you go, you have the mezuzah on one side. You have the.
Not everywhere you go. It's just by your doorway.
Surrounded.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's not everywhere you go. It's not like you have a menorah.
Surrounded. I meant to say surrounded. Surrounded.
But you're not surrounded. At your doorway.
Right.
It's not surrounded. I mean, I'm with you, but I'm just saying it's not surrounded. Surrounded would mean that you have to go. That would be surrounded. It would be menorot all over the house. Wherever there's a mezuzah, that makes sense. Then okay, I'm surrounded. Every time I walk through, I'm in somewhere. But the doorway, how many times you go through your doorway in a day? 2, 3, 4 if you forget something? How many times? So why are you telling me that the menorah should be on the left side and the mezuzah should be on the right side? So there's a Gemara Menachot, okay, and the Arizal writes in Ta'ameh HaMitzvot. What is the secret behind mezuzah? Something amazing. The secret of the mezuzah is to protect you against the Yetzer Hara. You're supposed to kiss the mezuzah with your right hand. Don't do it with your left hand. Do it with your right
It's on
hand.
the right side, no? So we're gonna.
Yeah, why not? This is harder. To walk in, yeah, like this. It's flushed with your body. It's actually better. It's better going like that. It's hadjit.
It depends where you walk in from. Are you walking?
By the way, you're right. Very good, very good. Yeah, depends what side you're walking. But the secret of mezuzah is to protect you from the Yetzer Hara. And that's the reason why a person puts his hand on his right hand on the mezuzah. Because what's written on the mezuzah? God's name, Shin Daled and Yud, Shakai, right? And why? Because the name of Hashem of Shakai protects you. You don't say it. You don't say it. Just like you don't say Yud Keva, you say Havaya. You don't say Adnut. You don't say the name. So if you take anyone know what the word milui means? Milui is how you spell letters. Yud, for instance, Danny, how do you spell the letter Yud?
Yud Vav Dalet, Zera.
Yud Vav Dalet. That's how you spell Yud. How do you spell Dalet? Dalet, Vav, Dalet. Right, right, whatever. Right. What do you spell? How do you spell Sadi? Sadi, Dalet, Yud. That's how you spell the letter. It's called Milui, expanding the letter. If you look at the word Yetzer, Yud, Sadi, Resh, the last letters of the Milui spell Shakai, God's name. To say what? To look, you have the Yud, and that's Yud Vav Daled. You have the Sadi, which is Sadi Daled Yud, and the Resh is the Resh Yud Shin. So the last letter of Resh is Shin. The last letter of Sadi is Yud. The last letter of Yud is Daled. Those letters spell out Shin, Daled, and Yud. That's God's name. So what? That is fighting that in the zechut of that name, it protects you against the Yetzer Hara. So why are we putting the menorah on one side and the what's it called on the other? To show you that just that the menorah saved you from the enemies that tried to take this away from you, that tried to take the mitzvot away from you. But you still need to be afraid of the Yetzer Hara, who's stronger than the goyim, because he's coming at you every day with things that it says that every day you wake up with a different Yetzer. What he did to you yesterday is not what he's going to try to get to you today. And why is that? Because you thank God we survived, we're able to do the mitzvot, but you still have to worry about the mezuzah, about the Yetzer. And that's what reminds you why you have the mezuzah, to protect you against the Yetzer Hara, which is a crazy thing. Why at night? Why at night? So we light at night because lighting during the day doesn't do you any good. Even if they lit the menorah,
You don't see it.
you don't see it. Lighting at lighting, like if I shut the light now, it would be a problem. But if I shut the light during the day, I have a window, so you have external light. It doesn't help you, and the whole purpose is to us to publicize the nes, to publicize the nes. For what reason? To show you that we are able to do the mitzvot. So we can't publicize it during the day. And you know what else it is, by the way? Right. In order that we're able to fulfill the mitzvot that are compared to a candle, like we said, and there's another reason that just like a mitzvah without kavanah is no good. Stinks, but it's true. Mitzvot tzrichot kavanah. If you're going to put the tefillin on, you have to have it in mind that I'm doing it l'shem shamayim. You can't just put if you don't, you don't get credit. You have to be aware and cognizant of what you're doing. So why dafka it has to be done at night? Because at night you acknowledge it, you recognize it. Mitzvot have to be acknowledged and recognized in order for you to get credit. You have to. But by the way, but it's an easy thing. When you walk in the house, and you say, okay, I'm going to do everything now, L'Shem Shalom Bayit. Everything you do in the house all of a sudden becomes what's it called? A mitzvah. And that's not just some fairy tale joke that we say. That's real deal. That's the real deal. That you walk in and you say, no, I'm gonna listen to my wife, even though she's a little majnun, but I'm gonna do what she says.
Is the mitzvah to actually physically kiss the mitzvah or just to have it on the door?
How much you love it. Who remembers where did we learn that we kiss the mitzvah? Who we learned that from? Avi, come on, Avi.
You're not actually kissing it. You're
I don't know.
Unklus. You don't remember the story of Unklus? There's a Gemara in Gittin, Unklus, you know Unklus, right? In the Chumash, you have Unklus on the side, the Aramaic. He converted. His uncle was Nero. I think his uncle was Nero, and he wanted to get him to come to the palace because he was gonna like execute him or something. Because that's not a good look on the king if his nephew is converting to Judaism if we're trying to give the Jews a hard time. So he sends the first crew, and the first crew, he talks to them and converts them. So the king is waiting for them to come back. They send messages. Oh, they find that they converted everybody. He goes, all right, send the second one. The second time he says, don't talk, don't let him talk to you. He tells him, don't let him talk, just take him and don't say a word. Just bring him to me, don't say nothing. So, okay, so they go, they knocks on the door, they open the door, they grab him, and they're escorting him out of the house. As he's escorting him out of the house, he kisses the mezuzah. The Givat says he kissed the mezuzah. And one of the guys goes, ooh, what'd you do that for? And boom, that was it. And he says, what do you mean, my God, my king is outside my house protecting me. Your king is on the inside and sending you geniuses. So beep bop boop ends up converting them. Sends another crew, and that didn't work out. So he just forget the whole thing. It was like, actually, it's not worth it anymore. Well, the mezuzah part was the third one. After that happened, he said, don't forget it, leave it alone. But that's how we know we kissed the mezuzah. It's beautiful, right? To know where the sources of the mitzvot are. So, but the what was I saying? The miracle, not the miracle. The reason why we do it at night is to represent that your mitzvot need to be aware. Just like the candle is it's not noticeable if you do it in the day, and it's only noticeable if you do it at night. Then also the mitzvot have to be noticeable in your mind that you're doing it with the right kavanah.
So is the mitzvah on the actual light or is it on the oil? Because the Ashkenaz use candles, they make it on the light. The light's the more important than
I think so.
So the oil is no significant.
Oil is because what they use in the Beit HaMikdash, they use oil, shemen, zait, zach.
So why is that?
So because
Just like Ashkenaz Sephardi,
we answered that question. Why is it that you're allowed to use anything? It's a joke. You're allowed to use anything you want to make it light, and if it extinguishes, then you don't have to relight it. Why? To show you that there's mitzvot that happen just like this, and we're now able to do those. Like milah. Milah was one of the three things that they took away. What were the three things? Shabbat, milah,
Rosh
Chodesh. So the fact now we're able to do the milah, which they were trying to take away from us, which they took away from us. But so that's why you're allowed to light with any wick that you want, any oil that you want, candles if you want. Doesn't matter what you want. Yeah, the better and the better and the better. That's a different story. But really, you're allowed to do anything you want. Why? To show you that we're now able to do the mitzvot, even the ones that I'm able to fulfill in a second, like milah. Because one cut and you're done. If it doesn't cut well, then fine. Okay. Now, I think we're coming for the. Here's the doozy. Oh, by the way, hold on. Why are you not allowed to use the light? All these reasons, all these halachot, are bringing it towards the fact that this represents mitzvot. The light, kined mitzvah. You're allowed to do the mitzvot. You're now allowed to do the mitzvot. That's what all this is showing. So all the things that we set up until now is all based on what you're allowed to do with mitzvot. Why by the doorpost and not inside the house? Because the menorah was in the house, because we want to show that's where they went into, right? And we want to show also that the majority of the mitzvot are done in the house. Why do we also do it in the Beit Knesset? Because we also do a majority of the mitzvot, the other majority of the mitzvot in the Beit Knesset, right? Why no Seudah like Purim? Because it's ruhani, everything's ruhani. Why if it extinguishes, we don't have to worry, because it's like milah. We're able to now do mitzvot like milah, we don't have to worry, right? Even if it gets extinguished. Why do we have to do it by the mezuzah? To show you that just because we won this war doesn't mean we still have a war to fight within us through the Yetzirah. And the mezuzah protects us with God's name Shakai. We brought it Remez with the milui of the word Yetzir, with the Sofet Tevot, the letters of each. The end of each word spells God's name Shakai, which helps protect us. Okay.
Why can't you use the light to benefit? You're gonna say like on Shabbat, you use the light to find. That's what you're gonna ask.
Say again.
You were about to say, why can't you use the light to read or see?
I didn't get that. Yeah, I'm just recapping. You get.
I already have the answer to that. I was waiting for him to go there.
Tell me what your answer is.
Yeah, I just learned it in Shabbat. Disrespect. For example, you can't count money in front of the Chanukah lights because it's very disrespectful, because you're degrading.
We have the shamosh.
Right.
Yeah.
You could only use the shamosh, right?
You use the shamosh. That's why you have the shamosh. So if you
Were you going there? I would just assume that you were going.
I thought you were going there.
The reason why you're not allowed, again, all this is based on the concept of this represents the mitzvot that we are now allowed to do, that we were not allowed. You cannot get benefit from the light because the mitzvot were not created for you to enjoy in this world.
Right.
Right, like it was talking about the Gemara Shabbat when you do a sela and you exchange that for
Right, you can't, because you can't enjoy, you can't use
Yeah.
the bizayon for the candle. I'm saying something different. I'm saying mishum de mitzvot lav lehanot nitenu. The mitzvot were not given for you to enjoy in this world. You're
Mm.
not, Hashem didn't give you tefillah so you could feel good. That's what I'm saying.
What about charity? You feel good when you make money because you
That's
gave money.
gravy. Those things are gravy. That's
Okay.
not the reason. God did not give you the reason to go pray so you could feel good, so you could feel complete. God did not give you the mitzvah of charity just so you could feel good. No, that is not true. It is a byproduct,
It's about.
but it's not the
Got
reason.
it.
So that you're not allowed to enjoy the light of the menorah because you're not allowed. They're not given for you to enjoy, and yet we're allowed to use them now. We're allowed to do them now. Say again, all these mitzvot. This is celebrating that we got the mitzvot back, that we're able to do what we were not allowed to do. The candles represent the fact that they took away the mitzvot from us, and we are now allowed to do the mitzvot beferhersia. That's why we put it in front of the door, because that was the door that they would go in and try to check. All these different cases. That's what why you're not allowed to enjoy the light, because to remind you the mitzvot were not given for you to enjoy. They were given for a purpose, a tikkun, a rectification, to complete the tikkun of the world.
So you're not allowed to enjoy it?
You're not allowed to enjoy it.
So giving gifts should be bad.
I don't like that. Don't get me started on that. Why are you doing that for? You know how I
You're
feel.
upset you didn't get your slippers.
I don't know what they're waiting for. This whole thing, I don't see anywhere where it says that we.
So why is
gifts.
everyone happy? You're singing and all this in front of the menorah. What's the point of all that?
Because you're celebrating the fact that you're able to
But
get the
you're
mitzvot
not
back.
doing it while you're crying. You're doing it and you're happy.
It's a byproduct. Yes, agreed. Hashem wants you to be happy when you do the mitzvot. I understand that, and yes, I agree with you 100%.
Hanukkah parties, everything.
But the bottom line is Hashem made it. Hashem did not give you the mitzvot in order for you to just feel good. That is a byproduct. It's an extra, but that's not the reason. That's not the core reason why you have them. And the fact that you can't use the light of the candle reminds you of that. You don't. Why do you have shul? Because we used to have the Beit Midrash, and we used to give a korban Tamid in the morning and a korban Tamid in the afternoon. So you have shaharit to replace that, and you have mincha to replace that, and they would burn all the limbs and all the leftovers at night, and that represented by Abid. Since we don't have the zechut of this, we have to now gather in shuls and do this. That's what we have to do. Okay, but it's not to make you feel good.
To be successful.
But there are times in shul where you do feel good.
You're gonna feel good on every mitzvah that you do. But I'm just explaining it is not the purpose of the mitzvah. It's a what's a byproduct mean? What is define the word byproduct? Danny, you this is you. Define it.
Something you get that happens to go along with whatever else
Happens
you're
to
doing.
come. It happens to come with it. Your neshama feels good. It's doing the will of God. That's good. I agree. That's great. But that's not the reason why he gave it to you. He gave it to you to gain mitzvot, to gain sechut. So when you go to Olam Haba, you have something in your hand, and you're not coming in empty-handed, and you feel bad. That's the reason why you have it, to get closer to God, but not to feel good. That's what it is. Okay, now here comes the big one. Why 8 days and not 7 days? Right? We answered, by the way, if we go through, we answered all of them. But the question is, why 8 days, not 7 days? So why do we make it 8 days? Why do we make it 8 days? Because we know that we were all tamei met. There was a war going on. Everybody becomes tamei met. What's tamei met? You touch a dead person, you're now tamei for 7 days.
Oh, I hear where you're going.
Tamei for 7 days. And that, by you being tamei, you need to get sprinkled with parah aduma on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. The 3rd day and on the 7th day, you need to get sprinkled. And then you do tevilah, you dip in the mikveh. And on the 8th day in the morning, you're clean. The 8th day in the morning, you're clean. It takes you 8 days to become clean from a tamei met. You touch a dead body, you're not going to be tahor for 8 days. earliest.
And that's a spirituality thing. That's why you're doing 8.
Yeah.
Is that why you sit Shiva for 7 days?
No. You sit Shabbat 7 days because the Torah gave a mourn of 7 days, 30 days, and a year. 7 days to mourn, 30 days to recoup, and then a year to, get out of the system. That's why Yaakov was crying for so long, because Yosef wasn't really dead. So he couldn't actually get it out of his system because it wasn't he couldn't get closure. It's horrible. Torture. Imagine feeling those 7 days for 22 years. It's horrible.
What other deep explanations do you have for the actual 8 days other than a person being tameh?
Bro,
Hey,
that's when it started.
Rabbi Yaakov Frank, he told me today that the Greeks were so into their the scientific reasonings for everything, and nature, so they showed that the 8 days was above the nature, meaning it was 7 and then it went to 8. I can't complete his full thought because my brain's not fully operating, but it was 8 days to show that it was above nature, Charles, something to that effect.
Yeah, 7 days is nature, 8 days is above nature. There's a segula I heard from Rab Arush. He said Mizmor Todah 8 times. Mizmor Todah is telling Hashem thank you. So don't say it 7 times, say it 8 times. Because 8 is one above nature. Nature is 7. 7 days in a week.
Charles, this Rabbi Arush?
Yeah. God of Emunah, very good.
Say miracles. See, thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, miracles.
Thank you, miracles. What does that mean?
Rabbi Arush, you wrote the book. Thank you and see miracles. That one?
Maybe.
No, Garden of Emunah, he wrote.
No, you
And
also wrote thank you and see miracles. But
Charles, you know this book?
Yeah, God and yeah. They're good books.
Wow.
They're good books. Yeah, they're good books. Reading them again and again is a key, by the way. Don't just do one day.
I got scared reading it. It tells you that your wife owns you, and yeah.
Oh, that makes sense now. I got it.
Why is that bad?
It's not bad. It's a reality check. It's not easy. Meaning to say, if you had a bad day, and then your wife's
that's
gonna
the
take
man book, right? You don't know what the women book says.
Yes.
The women book says something totally different.
Oh wow.
The women book says something very different.
Yeah, the question is, how do I get my wife to read that?
That's not right to lit, right? Looks wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah, some people do it that way.
Why?
I don't know.
It's the wrong way.
We do it this way,
Yeah, we do that.
and
way.
we start from the left to right. So,
Okay, give us the bomb question.
huh?
Give us the what was the thing that you said
Okay.
this week?
Which one?
You said this is the good one with the 8. Was that the one?
So why? Yeah, why 8 days? Because they were all tameh. What does the candle represent? The candle, the candle, the Western, it was called Ner Ma'aravi. Ner Ma'aravi was lit first and extinguished last, which doesn't make sense. It was lit first, same amount of oil. They all got the same amount of oil. Okay? But now if this is lit at 8 o'clock, and then boom, 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 this one that was lit at 8 o'clock that had all the same should extinguish first. And then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then that one. This one never extinguished. This one was the last one to extinguish. Why? Because this candle represented testimony from God that He's with us. The entire years of the Beit HaMikdash, this candle never extinguished to show that He's still with us. Okay? Now, when the miracle happened, it lasted 8 days. Why did it last 8 days? It lasted 8 days because in order to become tahor from being tameh met, I need 8 days. And the fact that now, if it didn't light the menorah, this was the edut in the Beit HaMikdash that ignited for 8. That it was always lit. Okay, the Western candle Ner Ma'aravi was always lit on the menorah to show you that God is always in the Beit HaMikdash, is being shoreh on Bnei Israel. If we just won the war without showing that we would have had this candle lit, then the people would have said, like you said, analyzing and scientific, they would have just said they won just because they won. It was nothing to do with God. And God still doesn't like them. So God made sure that the candle on the menorah would stay lit for 8 days until they were ready to get pure and to relight the candles. So there's never going to be a skip. And the world will never be able to say that the fact that the Hashmonaim won was a fluke. And it just happened to be right place, right time. They just got them at the right spot. This candle being lit, why 8 days? Because we need 8 days to get pure. And in order for us to put more, so God bridged us. Hashem give us a bridge loan. Why? Because he needs the world to see that this never extinguished. Because we couldn't light it. Really, it's got to last 1 day. And it makes sense to light it. So it always lasted 1 day. But I had more oil. Do you know the Greeks went around touching all the jars of oil and specifically to make them tameh? Specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they did not find this particular one is a miracle in itself. Is a miracle in itself because they looked everywhere and they found them all. The miracle of 8 days is that Hashem loves you no matter what. And you understand what I'm saying? You follow? Think about it. God, this was always lit. Now we have the war. Now we light and beauty. We have pure oil. Great. It ignites. Good. Now we got to get clean. There's no clean shaman that we're only allowed to use in the Beit HaMikdash. God leaves this lit for 8 days because he's waiting for us to get clean so we can make a new oil and we could relight it. So the world does not say if this was extinguished, the world would say there's no testimony and the Hashmonaim won just because they won.
Right.
And it's nothing to do with God's love for them. So specifically, this is lit, which this represents the LeMizvot that God gave us. And if this extinguished, and this was the testimony that God put in place for 420 years plus 200, because we know the Beit Sheni was how long? Chanukah was in year 213. Was in year 213 a Beit Sheni. Was in 213 a Beit Sheni. The fact that this was still lit, right, during the 7 days, the 8 days, is showing you that God did not leave us. And that's the miracle of Chanukah, that God did not leave us. And not only that God didn't leave us, God made sure to show the world that he testified that he's still with us. Because it didn't go away. Why? Because we needed 8 days. We needed 8 days. And he gave us 8 days. Because it never extinguished. The Ner in the menorah, the western one, was here, by the way. This was the south side. This is south. This would be north. West. No, I think this one. I don't know. One of them. I don't know. I'm not sure. But one of them stayed ignited the whole time. This was the first one to be lit, but this was the last one to go out. Why? Because it should always be as a testimony that God is standing with Israel. That God is standing with Bnei Israel. Now, when the Beit HaMikdash was pillaged, and we only had one thing, this stayed ignited for 8 days. Why? Because we had to get clean in order for us to make new ones. So God left the testimony alive for 8 days unnecessarily, just to show the world that I'm still with Israel, that I'm still with Bnei Israel, and not to think that the world should think that they're just doing it just stam. And that's the miracle of Chanukah. The miracle of Chanukah is represented by a spiritual salvation, that we were able to perform the mitzvot that we were not allowed to do, that they took it away from us. And that's why we light it in the house, because the majority of the mitzvot are done in the house. Why do we do it next to the mezuzah? To warn us that even though we won against the goyim, we still have the Yetzer Hara to deal with. It was much stronger. Why is it Ishbu Betot? To represent the mitzvot that we could do right away. Why do we do it in shul also? Because Pirsumei Nisa, to show that there's mitzvot that we do in shul also. Everything that's done with the candles has everything to do with the mitzvot. Why? Because ki ner mitzvah. A mitzvah is a candle, and it's represented by the light of Chanukah. You understand? It's represented by the light of Chanukah. And that's why we love a mitzvah. That's why we love the Chanukah so much. because there's nothing better and nothing more fulfilling than doing mitzvot and learning Torah. When you pay attention,
I'm paying attention.
there's nothing more. There's nothing more.
Tired.
Okay, you're doing fine.
What's the prevent the Yevanim or anyone else from saying that, oh, the Jews are just relighting it every single day when it goes out?
Because when you lie, they know. People know. People know when somebody lies. You can't fake it. And by the way, I'm sure people were there. It weren't only Jews that came. We were still under you still had Yavan to deal with. We just drove them out. But they had people there. They had people there for sure. For sure. There was someone there to testify. I'm sure there were. You can't. I remember when we first got to Israel, my daughters asked that question. She goes, how could it be that maybe they all faked it? Everybody that came out of Mitzrayim just faked the Had Sinai, and it wasn't real. Because you can't get 600,000 people to make a lie. So they said, no, we could. I go, I'll make you a deal. There's 3 girls. I said, you guys come up with a lie, and I'll give you a week to make it rock solid, and I'll test you on it. This is right when we first got to Israel. So they say, okay, fine. Danny, you're gonna love this one. So now we bring him out. So 7 days. Like, take another couple of days. Really make sure it's ironclad. So they do it. So I take the first one out on the Mikeitz, on the porch outside. And our street, there's always people outside. There's always people. So I asked a bunch of questions to my. By the way, I think it's in this book. I'm not kidding. I asked them 21 questions. I asked 21 questions, and I took the second one, and I brought her out, and I started asking her questions. And now, obviously, they weren't what's it calling? They weren't jiving, right? So now I'm starting to yell at her. Which one was it? And now I bring the third one out, and by the third one, I'm already screaming at the top of my lungs because now I have 2 people that lied to me, and now the whole thing doesn't make sense. What was the lie? The lie is that they went to a deal party by Joey Shammer's house. Okay, that was the lie that I probably tried, Danny. It's not in there. So I thought it was. Anyway, so now people were texting my wife, is everything okay? Like, why is Charles yelling on out loud in front of it's in public? So then he had to he's trying to show them that you can't make up lies. So I don't know. But you can't make these things you can't fake. You can't fake when it's done publicly. It can't be fake. Privately, look Edom. Edom was one guy with 12 guys. The Arabs was one guy alone. I don't even think he had any witnesses. We had 600,000 men between 20 and 60, and 3 million people collectively. You can't fake that. It's too much to fake.
Charles, everyone agrees, or there's a majority of rabbis agree that that first slot was completely lit the entire 8 days.
Yes. The question is the machloket, how was the oil poured? Some say that the one side says that all the oil was poured at once, and only an eighth of it was burned every day. The other one said,
oh, okay, got it.
The other side said that it was only an eighth was poured in, and the whole cup was filled, and it lit all day. The question that you guys should be asking me is how, if they Tamid, how do they get the oil in originally? If you're Tamid, how am I able to put the oil in the menorah in the first place?
That means to do with the public. Oh my gosh, I did this today. It's crazy.
Wasn't there one person who was?
No, but if there's something with the public, if a majority of the public, you could still do.
You're thinking about Korban Pesach. If everybody is Tamid,
no, but everyone. Right, so you could still do it. It doesn't prevent you from.
No, you can't. They used
what?
They used a long set of tongs, and they took it.
You're talking about the specific.
They poured it in. So this is just to recap. This is what Chanukah represents. Chanukah represents the fact that we are able to do our mitzvot in the way that we get to do them. Okay, and the fact that the candles lit 8 days is testimony that God is still with us, because the Nen Ma'aravi always lasted and was always extinguished last. And the fact that God waited 8 days for us is testimony that he's still with us, even though we messed up and he sent the Yevanim after us and we're still here. You understand? It's another sign that God is never going to leave us. And that's the nitzahon that we had. That is the victory that we had. Not and the victory, the military victory that we got wasn't just military. It was just the military that led or gave us what we really wanted, which is the fact that we can do our mitzvot again and put the tefillin on and not worry and keep Shabbat and not worry. Imagine they came out, the Democrats came out and says you can't keep Shabbat. It's so far-fetched. It's not so far-fetched. God forbid, but I'm just saying, don't think that it's not possible. Of course it's possible. It's horrible, but it's possible. The fact that we're able to do the mitzvot outwardly and openly is what we're celebrating. And why 8 days? Because God waited for us to get tahor in order for us to be able to show the world that we are tahor. Baruch Adonai Le'olam Amen V'Amen. You guys understand? It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Very
stuff.
nice. I loved it.
Unbelievable. Props are great, no? I'm a visual guy.
You know your directions.
Because I'll tell you why.
I'm joking. I'm kidding.
No, there's a mahlok in the Gemara where the what's it called? So it's facing this way. Was it facing that way or was it facing that way? That's the mahlok. So if it's facing this way, which way is the south side? Is it that way or that means the candles are lit this way? I don't know. So
they technically only ever lit 7 candles then?
yeah, the menorah was always 7 candles.
It shows it over here. So.
The menorah,
Right,
yeah,
like,
the menorah in
So
the Beit
no one ever
Hamikdash,
tried to say,
7.
none of the rabbis ever tried to say like, oh, light one first, then do the brachot, and light the other 7 that weren't already like lit.
No, who says that?
No, I'm surprised no one would have ever said then because they technically didn't say the bracha and then light 8. We're saying the bracha and we're lighting 8. Technically, you could say we could do the bracha and then light 7.
No, it was
If you
always,
have one already lit.
7. No, it was always 8. It was always 7 because there was 7 branches on the menorah. That's fact. That's from the Torah. Torah says it had 7 kanim, sheva kanim. The 8 days is because because the miracle lasted 8 days. What's the miracle that lasted? That the oil lasted. Why the oil lasted for 8 days? Because it was testimony to God. Love you. That the mitzvah is to show you is the lighting is to show you that Hashem is testifying that He's waiting for us. He's waiting for us to come and to become tahor, and we could relight, and He will continue the testimony to the world. That He's still with us and He's never leaving us. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of the what's it called. All right, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Adonai Olam Amen V'Amen. Azak Baruch, guys.
Charles, you're the best. Thank you.
I love you guys. I really love you guys. It's a lot of fun. Danny, would you send me something?
I sent you the ID and the password in case you have another situation where someone wants to log in from like their iPad or their kid's iPad.
How are they going to do it? What, you expect them to type in?
Yeah, you type in the code, you type in the meeting ID, and then you put in the password.